All right, so today has been an interesting Wednesday. It's September 24th. I had the opportunity this morning to wake up and do some treadmill rucking at about an 6 to 10% incline, and I was working on getting some true elevation. Got 1,000 feet of elevation in about an hour and about 4 miles. And I did like 3 miles rucking with 30 pounds and then about an hour, a mile, I'm just running straight uphill. So knee felt pretty good. I can barely feel anything when you're running on soft surfaces as opposed to tarmac. But then this afternoon I got home in time to do my strength training from Ridge Athletics, and was able to do heavy squat and such. And now my son has basketball, and I'm on my way rucking again with my Goruck in this nice park by my son's house that he actually goes to practice basketball with his teammates. So yeah, I'm really fortunate. It's a good day. It's just humid as nails. We're grinding. So one of the things that I wanted to share with everyone was how to mitigate the stressors of running day after day, especially if you're over 45 or if you're struggling with any injuries. So what I did to embrace this about 2 years ago was switched my running strategy to completely run walking. Started off at like a 4-minute run, 30-second walk. Then it changed on to a 3-minute run, 1-minute walk. And that's how I did New York with my wife last year. And we did pretty decent, 5:14, 5:12, something like that. Really felt great the whole time. At least I did. You're running a lot lower heart rate than you normally would. For myself, my wife actually had a great race for herself. She's more like in the day, she was like a 4:30 marathoner. So yeah, it's a far cry from my 3:15 days, but that wasn't the purpose. Really enjoyed it. So now the way I'm doing that now is that I'm actually embracing the change in pace, finishing a workout and being able to do another 3, 4, 6 miles if I had to at that same pace. Yes, of course, my paces are like 12-minute mile, 13:40s, but no one's really counting. And the other thing that I'm doing is I'm alternating rucking, walking days versus running days. And there are days when I ruck that I will jog with the weighted vest, but I won't jog with like a 45-pound vest or some ridiculous thing like that. I'm about $140, $142 in weight. So yeah, no more than 30% of my body weight do I want to put into that kind of strategy. So ideally, the way that I look at it is that I'm going to try my best to ruck and get through that type of workout with really focusing on being mindful with working my hips, working my glutes, working my quads. And then I just alternate it. One day I ruck, one day I run, one day I ruck, one day I run. So I try to do it so that Fridays I ruck and my legs feel just slightly a little bit more fresh for Saturday and Sunday. And then I built up slowly, to restoring back-to-back runs. Now, not to say that my back-to-back runs are going to be amazing because it's taken a little while to get there. But I would say over the last probably 6 months, ever since I started doing the strength training, probably before that slightly, that it's been strong. I've been stronger and I've been able to tolerate the back-to-back runs. And so what I'll do is I'll run a lot slower one day and then pick up the pace significantly the next day. Sorry, I didn't plan on going through all that mud. So, and this area is probably mosquito infested with my luck. In late September in Miami, where I heard that it snowed in Colorado on one of the ski lifts. A couple days ago I saw it. And so yeah, I'm quite jealous of that because I was supposed to move to Colorado for a new position and a clean start for my family. But as life would have it, we both got retained at work, and we're very fortunate for those opportunities. And so we're longtime Miami natives, and I guess we're staying Miami natives. But anyway, back to the run walking. So the run was going to, is incorporated that way. And then I'll do a 3-week build and a 1-week deload. So I did 50, 52, 53 miles the last couple of weeks with a 20 miler, a 17 miler, and a 16 miler in there. And so then last week, my long run was 12 with my wife and a good friend of ours. And Sunday was a lot easier day. So I think I capped out at like 33 miles for the week. So that's a decent deload. I touched base with Cameron about that. And yeah, I mean, that's the only way you're going to get through it. So if you really put your ego aside and you really don't pay attention to the pace and you focus on what it is that you're out there and you have gratitude and you really are fortunate for what it is that you're doing out there, then it'll be fine. Again, a far cry from my, true running times back in the day. But I'm embracing it. And so I'm taking it one day at a time, and we'll see where it lands. We'll see, little by little. Okay, I'm back. This is a nice little trail that you don't really get in Miami. So this is near Old Cutler Road in South Florida, which is about one of the few places that you can run safely without getting run over in South Florida. But it's an old trail that has been used by marathoners and seasoned runners on end. So yeah, it's a nice trail. It has a lot to offer. This is just a shortcut cutting through it from my son's buddy's house where they're doing basketball. Only I do not plan on coming back this way. I'll probably go near the Old Cutler Road itself because this is slippery and muddy and I'm wearing road shoes that are not ideal for all this sliding around. But it's good practice. It's good practice for my ankles. It's good practice for my knees. And, it's a good walking pace to get used to. And tomorrow's a run day for me. And hopefully, I'll be able to get up at 4:15 in the morning, 4:05, and get that run in. Maybe Jelaine will join me for that run. If not, it'll be another, hopefully, 7-miler. Holding steady. I ran a little bit too fast on Monday, but it was nice to pick up the pace. Averaged about 9:50s, usually averaging with her around 12, 13-minute miles. Again, no stress. Finish feeling strong. And then I'll do some stride outs at the end. So I'll dive into rucking a little bit more coming up next. All right, we're in one of my favorite parts of my runs at Matheson Hammocks Park here in South Florida. It's very nice. People come here to take wedding pictures, and we've done some family pictures here. It's very pretty. A lot of oaks, a lot of moss. So one of the few areas that makes you feel like you're on an actual trail in South Florida. Again, 0 elevation, but a lot of heat training, which acclimates your lungs a bit and is actually good for you. So rucking, how to ruck. For those of you that are familiar with rucking, welcome. For those of you that have no idea what rucking is, it's basically, in generic terms, it's walking with weight. Whether it's a weighted vest, where you see the weight in the front and the weight in the back, or true rucking, like this is, with a rucksack. This is a rucksack by Goruck. I'm not affiliated with Goruck, but they are in Jacksonville, Florida. I've been using their gear now for, since 2020, I think. So I started rucking during the pandemic as a ways of training more weight on a regular basis. And I gotta say that it caught on. I mean, all of our friends and family started rucking, and everyone started doing it. And before you know it, we all had rucksacks and we were rucking and on vacation on the beach and walking through sand. And it was a great workout. Have a couple buddies that have lost a significant amount of weight rucking. So that's fantastic. So if you're looking to the science behind it, I suggest 2 books. One of them, both of them, 2% Michael Easter. He has a Substack that I would highly recommend you subscribing to and listening to every single one of his podcasts. They are short. He writes almost daily and 3 times a week. And if you are a member of his channel and you're subscribed to Substack, which I think is like $8 a month or something like that, not only do you get a wealth of information about rucking, you also get all your Q&As. He has free Q&As about how rucking benefits you, the science behind rucking. But the bottom line is that most people will tell you it's about 2 times their body weight. 30% their body weight. And you burn about twice as many calories. Now, that's a very rough estimate. So if you burn about 500 calories rucking, you really can't say that you burned 1,000. But what you can say is that it's intentional, and the additional weight that you're putting on your body allows your metabolism to continue to burn after you're done rucking, because it's almost like it is weight training. You're carrying weight, right? So if you're a mountaineer or a mountain athlete, you know about rucking. You know you got to ruck uphill on a treadmill if you don't have access to one, the mountains. So you know you got to get out there. But if you live on flat terrain, limited on time, don't want to run because it's hot, or you're in a gym and you really don't feel like running on a treadmill, then put on a weighted vest. Get a weighted vest. You can get them on Amazon for less than $100. Something simple. 20 pounds is great. If you're under 130 pounds, 15 pounds is a great place to start. My kids ruck, and they enjoy it. They're about, I would say, 10 and 11 now, but they've been rucking for about 2 years. And they do it with me and my wife. And do they really enjoy it? Well, yeah, if you tell them let's go ruck instead of running, they'll ruck. But it's so hot and nasty in South Florida, they'll hate me for it. But in the winter, we enjoy it as a family. It's a great thing to do. It brings a wealth of benefit. It's great for your joints. It's low impact. You could start jogging. What I would suggest is that you ruck for about 6 to 10 weeks first with the weight that you're going to jog with. And then you slowly build into just a 20-second jog. Then go to 30, work your way to 45, then work your way to a minute. And when you've maxed out on the weight that you're carrying and you can get to about 13-minute mile running, rucking, then you're ready to add a little bit more weight to it and then start again, 6 to 10 weeks, rucking only. And then you can try that weight jogging very gently, but it's run walking. It is not running straight. So the hybrid CrossFit athlete or the High Rocks athlete that feels that they have to, to run with the ruck full time, and that's not the purpose. That's not what we're getting after. We're getting after consistent loading, and we're also trying to not overstress and overtax the joint. And it's a great way to work out your lower extremities, your upper back, your shoulders, etc. So give it a shot. Any questions you got about rucking, shoot them in. We're going to talk a heck of a lot more. But it's a good start for family and all. All right, so welcome to my channel. This is a great way to start telling you more about everything that goes on. So the first video that I posted in day 1 of the grind was really used with my GoPro, and it was painful because I am not a videographer. And as you can tell, I am not an audio expert, but I am upgrading slowly. And so if you bear with me as a 53-year-old who does not embrace all the technology in the world, but I do appreciate the Billy Yangs of the world and Jeff Pelletiers, who put on amazing content and ultra running distance and mountain racing and mountain running, and just overall fast packing. I'm a very big fan of the ultra endurance runner that's also a content creator, which is kind of like where I got my inspiration from, because I think that with the number of years of experience that I have in the sport of endurance, starting off in triathlon and working my way up to ultra racing. I've been running since I was 11 years old. If it wasn't for a good neighbor of mine when I was a kid, we lived in the burbs, and he was like, wow, you're overweight. And this is a sensitive topic today, right? With kids. I have young kids. A lot of their little friends are on our cross-country team. I am the cross-country coach for our local Archdiocese parochial school here in Miami. I love it. The first thing I did when I was given the opportunity is I cut no one from the cross country team. It's an open field. You come out, everybody runs. Nobody gets cut. People cut themselves, right? Sort of like very similar to SEAL training. You ring the bell. You tell me you don't want to be here. And so, well, to date, we haven't lost much of anyone. The only reason we've lost some people is to sports, which I can appreciate. Because if you're playing basketball, soccer, etc., and you can't come to cross-country practice, fantastic, I get it. So being the cross-country coach, I'm really instilling, that family aspect, everybody involved. We try to join some local 5Ks. We have some great parents helping out. It's really become an entire community. So much that I think we have over 153 kids on our team, and we're not a massive school. And we do have quite a few students, but I would say the average class is about 20, 22, maybe 23 students. So I reached my halfway mark on my ruck. So heading back. Here, forgive me here. There's a boat coming on this way for an arm ramp, so I'll hold for a second. Typical Miami, twin engines heading out late at night, go trolling, some good fishing. So the other thing that I will talk to you about is that, so my experience running was in middle school, elementary, middle school, and high school. Having run that entire time, not only did I lose a ton of weight because I was a pretty husky kid who had to wear my pants over my belly button because my gut stuck out. I wasn't overly impressed with the way I looked. But then, puberty hit and you wanted to feel better. And then the Olympic Games hit and I really got into it. My parents bought me some cheap track uniform from back then, one of the mom and pop places in South Florida. And I think I wore that thing out running. I used to run with the shitty shoes from, and I apologize, I try not to curse because this is kid-friendly information. But I was using, not the greatest shoes, not brand names, like many people from the 70s and 80s, used whatever you can get. And I was very fortunate to run, and that no one ever said that I couldn't. And I just got better on my own. I used to run around my building, which was, I think, maybe less than a quarter mile. And my parents would just be like, he's out there running, and we don't have no idea what he's running from. So, but I found it very soothing and very therapeutic. So that was my early days running. Then in high school, I competed in middle distance events, even though I thought I was a sprinter. I was always on the second team for sprinting. I was more of a middle distance runner and a miler. And even then, I would say that I was above average. I wasn't the fastest, but I was the most consistent and the most dedicated athlete on the team. And so that carried on into my collegiate years. And then after I graduated from college and professional school, my wife and I took up triathlon and spinning. And spinning opened a whole new world because I was also like a cyclist in high school and rode a lot of bike and didn't get a chance to race a ton, but rode a lot and was very familiar, very up on the Tour de France and etc. And back then it wasn't as popular as it is now. But it's still very dangerous. And it was dangerous back then in the streets of South Florida to be riding your bike. So a couple buddies, we rode a lot for our local groups. And there's some really strong riders in South Florida. So over the years, started doing the spinning and the triathlons started coming one by one. And we just caught the tri bug. And it was insane. We went straight to our first half Ironman in Clearmont in Florida, which was a brutal race. And then literally a month and a half later, we did our first Ironman in Clearmont, which if anybody is from South Florida or from the state of Florida, you know that racing in Clearmont is not easy. It's a lot more difficult Ironman than racing in Ironman Florida and Panama City. So then that led to doing about 15, 20 years of running and racing in the circuit of amateur athletes in Ironman. Expensive, time-consuming, the number of hours, but the three sport discipline was really good for our joints overall, because as soon as you got tired of being in one position, you were already switching to the next one, albeit, of course, you're out there for a long time. So then we had kids. And those of you that are parents know that your career as a athlete takes a big hit, especially when both of you are amateur athletes. So we had our daughter, and then we had our son shortly thereafter. We were very blessed with having two back to back. And that ended my wife's triathlon career, and it put a hold on mine. And I was never able to get back to it because this time was just not possible. Between working in the hospital and trying to be a good parent, which is the whole reason why you had kids, and being present and sharing the load, the only thing that was feasible was marathoning. So we marathoned our little lives away and made it to Boston, qualified about 3 times, raced it once, ran myself into overtraining to the point where I was admitted right before 2018 Boston to the hospital with a horrible pneumonia that required, proper medication and a good searching of the soul of overtraining yourself to the point of, killing yourself. And I think that as amateur athletes, we tend to overtrain a lot easier than professionals because we're burning the candle at every end, right? We're burning it deep. And those of you that are new to this, you're going to hit overtraining. It's going to happen. And the only thing I could tell you is to recognize it early, right? You're not sleeping proper. You're not getting in anywhere between 6, 7, 8, 9 hours of rest. You're falling asleep at work. You can't eat enough. You're losing weight more than you can keep weight. You're snappy at work. You have a very short temper. Red S syndrome. Look it up. It's real. It happens. So I think that every single one of us from my triathlon group and our racing teams, all of us really put ourselves into the hurt and pain cave of overtraining. And I think we overtrained. A lot of us in that group we were in the top 1% of triathletes for amateurs, right, in our age groups. We weren't going to Kona. 1 or 2 people were going to Kona. And everybody else was not Kona qualifying. But we did qualify for World Championship Half Ironman, Boston Marathon qualifiers on a regular basis. Some of us really fast people, but we would bury ourselves on the weekends, burying each other. And I was a big reason why that happened. So, and there goes my 2nd mile mark. See, rucking with a 20-pound vest and 16 to 17-minute mile. So good load, good metabolic burn. So that's essentially led into me dabbling into ultra marathoning. And the problem with ultra marathoning for me is really running on tarmac full time. So I am incorporating my treadmill a lot more. And I went from being a 3:15 marathoner and tweaking my knee, training for Marine Corps 50K. And that pushed me into becoming more mindful runner, almost ending my marathon and running career, which I don't know, I'd rather get bilateral knee replacements than stop running. That's just me personally. I know a couple of people have gotten hip replacements to keep running. That's okay. We all have our own vices, right? But if that's the price I have to pay, then that's the price I have to pay. Running is not bad for your joints. What's bad for your joints is overdoing it. That's what's bad for your joints. And for those of you that don't agree with me, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. It's a free country. You can say whatever you want. But read the literature. It's there. The literature shows that loading your joints, even when you're injured, you want to load your joints on purpose. Mind you don't want to load it with 250-pound back squat, but you want to load your joints intelligently. So there's a way that you do it. And walking is one way, and walking with weight is another way. It's a very good way. But then if you want to offload your joints while you're running, walk. Take walk breaks. Be mindful. If you're over 50 or you're over 45 and you have a propensity for getting injured, embrace walking. The first time I did it at a New York City Marathon, I think I ran a 3:25 and I walked every mile for 15, 20 seconds. And I felt a hell of a lot better than I did the other years that I ran through. And I think that was my PR at New York. So embrace it. Take it upon yourself to educate yourself and to really think long and hard about why it is that you're out there. So that's a little bit about the history of myself. And, we'll talk some more and we'll try to learn from each other. Well, I said I wouldn't run through this area again, but I guess I did. It was full of mud, but that's okay. We're getting through it. Almost done here. 3 mile ruck while my kids at basketball practice. Getting it in, grinding it out. It's the time on feet that matters. Forget about pace. Forget about everything else. That's not how you get through endurance races in this day and age, at my age. It's all about, building up. So we're in the home stretch, back on concrete. All right, so I forgot to add one more thing. Of course. It's not bad enough that I'm already ranting on forever. I'm going to review some products, especially the ones that I'm going to be using or have been using in training and racing. So first and foremost, this Goruck. This is a bullet ruck, so it's super small. I'll try to put the link, but here is a backside view of what it looks like. And that is a horrible cinematography move, but just gives you a quick idea. So you could load it up to 30 pounds. I put the Goruck 30-pound plates, but you can get ruck plates you can get plates on Amazon for Yes for All, YES, the number 4, and ALL. They have them. That's what's there now is 2 10-pound plates from Yes for All. But the Goruck plates are cast iron. They're amazing. And shout out to them. Their product has held up tremendously. It's guaranteed for life. You send it back, they'll restitch it up. And I've loaded my Goruck backpack with up to, I want to say 60 pounds rucking. So, but usually I ruck with it around 35 pounds. So it all depends on the distance. And I have the waist belt attached to it to offset the load sometimes when your shoulders get tired. It takes a while. Your shoulders are going to hurt. It's going to bother you. My wife doesn't use this. She doesn't use any of the Goruck products because she doesn't want anything on her shoulders. She likes to use the vest. And they make a beautiful vest that I have that I load up with 30-pound plates. 15-pound plates for make it 30. And it's fantastic. I mean, that thing is just amazing. So, again, if you're interested in rucking gear, Goruck. It's fantastic. It's durable. They make everything from sandbags to shoes. I have the Goruck shoes. I'll show those to you at some point. They've lasted now almost 2 years, rucking and going to work with them. You can run with them. You can cross-train with them. They're a little bit wider in the toe box for your feet, since I do use wide toe box shoes. And yeah, they're fantastic. So I'm going to be talking a little bit more about Goruck stuff. And these shorts that I'm using from Path Projects. And they're fantastic. Shout out to Path Projects, Floris Gearman and his team putting together some amazing gear. In South Florida, it's the only stuff I use. I'll go over what I use of theirs here, what I've raced with before, and what I'm going to be racing with in the future. But I have everything from, I've used their shirts to go to Hawaii and go to dinners and nice restaurants to, their collared shirts are amazing. Their Wadi collection is just out of this world. So yeah, we're reviewing a lot more about that. But yeah, we'll touch more about reviews. And it's a beautiful afternoon. It's finally starting to cool off a little bit. And we're coming towards the end of our 3-mile ruck and this journey that I've taken you on today. Just babbling along. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop any questions.